Hello, everyone. IMS welcomes you all to our webinar series, The B School Insider, all you need to know about your dream school. And I am your host, Kalyani Majumdar, for today's webinar. So in today's session, our topic is IIFT, Campus Life, Placements, Academics. And in this webinar, you'll find out about the personal journey of the four panelists who have joined us today, how rigorous is the selection process at IIFT, the academic schedule and faculty. We'll be also talking about MBA in international business specifically, and the placement process at IIFT, the campus life, and some fun facts about IIFT. So today our speakers are Umang Duggal from second year IIFT Delhi, Vikas Prasad from second year IIFT Delhi. Then we have Divyansh Sandwar. He's an alumnus from batch 2021 IIFT Delhi. He's working as an enterprise consultant with Yellow Dot AI. And we have Mahendra Kumar YVK. He's an alumnus from batch 2021 from IIFT Kolkata. And he's a consultant with Polster Solutions and Services. And from February next year, he'll be joining Deloitte as a consultant. So welcome all of you, and thank you so much for being here for this session. So let's start with your IIFT experience. So tell us about your IIFT experience. How much did you score? How many months did you prepare for? You all must have prepared for CAT first and then taken IIFT test as well. So anything specific to IIFT test? And was there anything in particular that you did to get success? So we can start from Umang, then Vikas, then Mahendra, and then Divyansh. Yeah.
Very good morning to everyone, and thank you so much for being here for this session. So just a brief introduction about myself. So I'm a chemical engineer from NIT Srinagar, and I worked at Vedanta Group for close to 13 months. Post that I started, preparing for all the entrance examinations. I quit my job back in July, which is something I would, not recommend to everyone to do. But yeah, because that is something that is very difficult to justify in your interview questions and everything. So I started preparing in July, and I think 3 months was the time that I prepared for all of these competitive examinations. And CAT was okayish. I would not go into the percentile for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, for IIFT, I got a score of 162.5, which translated to a 99.26 percentile, which was really great. So initially, I converted IIFT Kolkata on the first waitlist, and then I moved on to IIFT Delhi in the second waitlist. So I would say that about the exam experience, since ours was the first time that the exam was conducted by NTA and conducted in a CBT only mode. And of course the time was similar, but yeah, the marking changed. So 3 marks per question and everything. So I think it was a big challenge and a big shock to all of us when we first appeared for the paper. But yeah, it was a pleasant shock, I would say, for all of us who actually managed to convert it in that time. But yeah, I would say specifically if you are thinking of cracking IIFT, and if you're already given your IIFT exams this year, so you might have already witnessed that it's all about speed. So as many questions as you can make in as minimum number of time, and as many possible good attempts that you can make. So that is the key difference between CAT and IIFT, because you might have observed that CAT is more heavier in the type of questions that it combines maybe 5 to 10 concepts in one question, but IIFT questions are not that much like that. So yeah, essentially I feel that is the everything. That is the most, I think. Did I miss anything?
Oh no, you did answer most of it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Vikas.
Yeah. Good morning to everyone. Yeah. So I had a little bit different path as compared to other people. I also did my engineering from MSIT IP University in Electronics and Communication Engineering. I am a bit older. I had my graduation done in 2015, but I took a break for civil services preparation. So I took a little detour on the way. After that, I wrote 2019 UPSC mains, and then I started preparing for it. I thought that it is a very nice way to get out of the track if things didn't work out. So I prepared for a couple of months, and I was able to get 99.5 percentile in IIFT, and I converted the first list. So converted the IIFT Delhi in the first list, as to say that. Okay. And talking about the exam, I think Umang covered very well what different it is. As in other words, if I had to put it, it would be CAT tests the depth of the subject, wherein IIFT examination checks your breadth of the subject, wherein you are able to connect the multiple horizons, multiple subjects that you are going to encounter, the types of thinking that goes in through aptitude, through reasoning, and additionally GK element is there, right? So that is not asked in CAT, but there is GK element in there too. It tests your business acumen, your current affair awareness, and so on. One last point that I would like to make regarding this, regarding the entrance examination, you have to focus a bit more on verbal ability because it is different from CAT. It focuses a bit more on the word origins, etymologies, and stuff, wherein I think it's very important because I think I am personally very much into etymologies and all that stuff because I have been a quizzer in my past. So I would recommend that you read a few books like Etymologicon by Mark Forsyth and all, so that it would not only help in your examination, but it would be quite fun, engaging experience for you as well.
Right. Great. Yeah. Mahendra.
Yeah, thanks a lot for this opportunity, firstly. So I gave my IIFT during 3 years ago, primarily. Okay. I started my preparation August 2018. Okay. It's pretty long story, but I'll just give an introduction. I'm a production engineering from NIT Trichy, batch of 2016. Then I worked for 24 months in Trident in a core business operations firm. Then later on, I started preparing. I had to leave my job because of a bike accident. That's all. No specific reason. So started for CAT and IIFT, all the entrance examinations across the available in the market primarily. So gave a decent CAT, expecting K call. Then IIFT. So this was exactly 3 years before we have completed our CAT and IIFT. We are just checking our scores from every coaching institute. Ki, isme itna aa raha, like that. Okay. So I got a percentile around 98.6, then got K shortlist, but couldn't convert to Delhi, not an issue. Then so after this preparation, like Vikas and Umang have told mostly about the preparation, how we do, like nothing specific for IIFT except GK, which totally covered by Vikas. But as per GD and PI is concerned, and we were the last batch, me and Divyanshu were the last batch who have given that paper-based exam where, you need to bubble all the OMR sheets and all. So it was, we were the last ones.
Yeah, we'll be talking about the PI's next question. So,
So as per GK is one thing that I started reading this GK compendiums with IMS, which used to be a monthly magazines across market. So once you cover all these things, even though you don't read newspaper daily, but it has to be a regular activity, then you if there is a chance, you can start using the crosswords that is there on Hindus. So these things will give you more about of verbal, because we were not used to learn more about English and all. Okay, when you go to any work job. So nothing more than that. Okay, that's all.
Okay. Yeah, Divyansh.
Yeah, hey, hi Kalyani, and good morning everyone. Thanks for joining the session. Thanks Kalyani for giving us the opportunity to interact with everyone here. A little bit about myself. So I actually pursued my engineering and completed it in 2017 in the field of electronics and electrical. And post that, I had a 2-year stint with Accenture as an application development associate. I believe a lot of people will be relating to that post their BTech. And when it came to the preparation, so yeah, I started giving CAT when I was in my 4th year. And I did attempt CAT for 3 times, guys. So 3rd time's a charm, I believe, because in that year I decided that, okay, I need to go on a full mode over here and be serious about the exams. And that is when I decided to, appear for IIFT and other exams as well. Like Mahendra pointed out, every exam that was there out in the market, I felt that, okay, this is high time that I get serious about it. And IIFT exam, as Mahendra rightly pointed out, right, that we were the last batch that appeared for the paper-based examination. And it was an experience in itself, because all the other exams were primarily online. And but the key factor, like I believe everyone pointed out, is it's about your speed. How do you test your speed, right? And if you're able to match to that speed, because for me, I knew that, okay, my DI is not that good. At least 3 years giving CAT, you do realize that there are some gray areas in particular sections that you ideally would not want to be there. So for DI, what I did is that I was very confident ki, theek hai, I'll appear for, maybe I'll just try and gauging maybe 1 or 2 questions only, so that I at least cross the cutoff, because we do have sectional cutoffs over here. And I knew that, okay, my cons is pretty strong and my verbal is also nice. So what happens is that that way I the overall strategy was to ensure that, okay, I'm not only crossing the cutoff but scoring good. So my overall score was 46.94 and my percentile was 99.954. And I did convert IIFT Delhi in the first attempt itself. So, the idea over here is that you strategize yourself, you know about the exam. If you do a bit of research and you know about the exam, you definitely will be able to appear it in a very strategic manner and ensure that you're able to convert it, because that is what everyone is essentially aiming for, right? At the end of the day, it's not about how many attempts you make. The idea is to convert in the first attempt, if you can, right? And that is something that I believe all the aspirants must aim for. You strategize, you understand the exam, you try to maybe raise queries around. And obviously, if you are that unlucky batch that where which faces maybe a change in the overall scheme of things, like I believe a few CAT aspirants might be saying that, okay, this is unfair on our behalf, but then that is something that's beyond your control. But otherwise, if you look at the papers, you look at the trend, the kind of questions that are coming in, it definitely helps. And in terms of GK, I believe everyone has covered. So one pointer from my side will be that do watch those YouTube videos, that IMS and other coaching institutes have online, because that really helped me. At least in my case, I started watching these GK videos because I was not reading newspapers, to be honest. But yeah, I did like reading a few articles. I had my biases over there, so. But in terms of preparation, what I ensured is that I did watch at least one video over GK preparation on YouTube every day. And what that helped me is that, at least in my case, I had 6 questions for which, which I could directly relate to those videos. Okay, it was there on those videos. I had just went through those videos last week. So it was very easy for me to, okay, just look at the option and take that. Right. So that is how you approach it. You understand first which areas are your strength, where are your weaknesses, and as soon as you know about it, it definitely helps you in cracking the exam, because at the end of the day, you need to have those individual cutoffs as well as the overall cutoff. So yeah, bit complicated, but then at the end of the day, we were there.
Okay, great. So now tell us something about the selection process, as in the personal interview, group discussion. What were the topics on which the questions were asked? Do you have some special tips for future aspirants? Also, because IIFT, there is a people think that it has a very, very rigorous selection process, more difficult than many other B schools. Is it true? And yeah, so give us some tips as well for that. Okay, Mahendra can start, then Umang, then Vikas, then Divyansh. Yeah, Mahendra.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So there were 3 different steps. One is VAT, and then you have GD, and then PI. So starting off with VAT. So when you compare other B school processes, so everything is a simple topic that we got during that time. It was okay. Should elections across the India should happen at once itself or not? So the one primarily thing, it was totally written on a paper. So ensure you have all the bullet points together, have some data points like how many states and all these numbers. So primarily your presentation should be good in that. And even though you don't need to complete the whole paper, both the sides, but ensure you have covered whatever you have known. Okay, because the VAT is the same paper. Like my selection process happened in Hyderabad. So there will be 2 different panels. The panel 1 will check for the VAT. Panel 2 will check for GD, and you will come back to the panel 1 for your selection process, as in the PI. Okay. So you will be scrutinized by both the panels, and the panel will consist of 1 senior most faculty, 1 corporate leader, and 1 alum.
Okay.
So at times 2 faculty as well, like 1 senior and 1 associate professor. Okay. So all the faculties fly to these cities across the interviews happen. So in the GD, it was 16 minutes GD to be precise, and then there are 12 odd people. It was should Byju's, Udemy, all these courses should be progressed, or policy should come in this way. The GD was like whether online education will be the future of thing or not. Like unfortunately COVID happened, and it is
Yes,
the main thing
yeah.
that
I
is
was just going to, yeah.
okay. So but ensure that you make like don't give lengthy points during your GD. Ensure you give 2 to 3 entries max, because there will be 12 odd people. If you divide at max, you will get 1 minute per person or a candidate. In that, introduction will give you 2 minutes, and then the summary will be chosen by the panel itself. So ensure you have those entries with specific data points are relevant. So one thing, like every coaching institutes do tell this, like not to cut anyone. But if you're not cutting, you won't get a chance at the end of the day.
Okay.
So everyone will be competitive. Just ensure that during the high pitch of everyone talking, just take it that's the sneak way to get into and start your point with a
Okay.
data point. Okay. Then one thing in GD itself is add on to the next person's point. That is the first thing they look for. Like that is how you build a discussion. It's a group discussion, not like you're giving you a perspective. And as per PI is concerned, like IIFT has this form where you fill several odd questions, like around 12 to 14, you answer everything, and it will have everything. Like it's like a usual placement process, like uh, what's your short-term goal 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line. So all these questions, whatever you write, be very sure about your answers. Like scrutinize them with your faculties at coaching institutes, and then get sorted. There should not be anything where you don't know. Okay, assume you write, I am a bike rider. You need to know how much speed, what's the correlation between the CC and high speed. These were the questions literally asked to me. Okay. So, and then daily news, that day's newspaper is very specific, and the previous day's newspaper is very important. And any trade policies, because you are at the end of the day joining IIFT trade college.
Yes, yeah. Umang.
So I think Mahindra pretty much covered everything that was to cover, but yeah, I would just talk about my own experience.
Yes, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, so I'll just talk about my own experience. So I had the fortune of giving this process at the IIFT Delhi campus, which in itself is it was a beautiful campus. The first time seeing it and everything, because we did not have such great campuses in Srinagar, obviously. So yeah, this was a good opportunity. So I remember like the VAT topic was something revolving around demonetization and if its effect on the fiscal deficit and everything. So again, not necessarily that the topic will always be something based on current affairs. It can be something of a policy change which has impacted the country in some or the economy in some major way. Even in the past 3 to 4 years. But I think going forward this year, you guys can expect topics to be somewhere revolving around COVID and the elections and everything. So be abreast with those topics, I would say. Other than that, in the GD art, so I guess Mahendra had a very good GD experience, but for us, essentially, our GD was a ruckus. So that will also happen. Okay. So, I mean, you have to be prepared for all eventualities. Okay. So our group, we had like 3 people who were, really, really, really bursting out. Like the topic was actually something very divisive. The topic was whether cricket is a religion in India or is it just a sport. So, and surprisingly, there were like only 3 females in the group, and all 3 of them were actually very, very, strong on going on this topic, and they took a polarized opinion, and there was a lot of infighting within the group. So I mean, what you learn from this experience is that the things that you need to especially avoid in a GD. Okay, so number one, no one-on-ones with anyone. Like if me, Mahindra, and Vikas are in a GD, we're going to be talking to the group entirely. Okay, so what happens is when you're sitting in the GD panel, so you have this table that goes round like this. Okay, and the panelists will be sitting somewhere over here, and you will have people who are sitting on this side as well, and you'll have 10 people sitting on this side. So not only do you have to make eye contact with these 10 people, but you have to make eye contact with this person as well, because that person should not feel alienated while you are speaking. And these are the things that the moderators are actually really paying a lot of attention to. Okay. What matters in a GD is not what you speak, but what you essentially do when you are not speaking, right? So your body language, your facial expression. So it should not like that, someone cut you off. So you make a face like this. Don't be sad about it, right? Like don't show, even if you're angry, you're well within your rights to be angry, because you will meet some people who will be very abrasive, right? But you have to maintain your composure, because end of the day, you are going to be future managers, right? And in managerial, as they call them, the boardrooms, right? In boardrooms, these kind of things happen. You will have seniors and you will have people below you, and will have people from all walks of background, and they'll be talking all kinds of stuff, and they'll have polarizing opinions, but you are the one who has to maintain the composure. You are the one who has to essentially glue together the group to come towards a common solution. So ultimately, I was actually the one who managed to do that thing. Okay, so I tried to glue the group together, and even though I did not get to make many good entries, but essentially I emerged as a leader of the group, right? So I would say that that is a very special situation. It will not happen in all of your GDs. It will happen in very few number of GDs. Okay. And I would say that I was the only person from my entire GD panel who was, finally selected post GPIs and everything, because I was in touch with most of them after the GD itself. But yeah, so that was one thing. Specific to the I would say that don't lie. I mean, if you think that bullshitting is the way to get through, it's not, honestly, trust me, because as Mahendra already mentioned, right, you have senior faculties there. I mean, they have been doing this thing for the past 30 years, okay, and that's not even your age, so they'll easily be able to see right through what you're saying, right? So like he mentioned, right, if you are saying that you're a bike rider, you need to know, what is the correlation between speed. So similarly, if you are saying that, okay, I'm a writer, trust me, they are going to dig very deep on that. They're going to talk to you about, what kind of things you write, what topics you love, and everything, right? And if you say that, okay, I love reading, it's like, see, people casually say these things. I love reading, I love cricket, I love this, I love that. So when you're filling that PI form, right, once you get your shortlist for the first VAT PI process, and when you're filling that PI form, be very, very sure of what you're filling and fill only things that you're able to justify. Okay, do not just fill anything randomly. Like I love reading, so even you will say I love reading, and you read only Chetan Bhagat novels. Okay, that's not going to work. Trust me, that's not going to work, because then if you are someone who is into reading, you are expected to at least know people who are popular in this particular time at this particular genre or in a particular field, right? Because even I do not read, and even I do not know about it. Okay, and that's why I did not write that in my PI or anywhere else. So, and another thing that you need to be sure of is like what kind of faculty you have to judge the room, essentially, because sometimes you'll have panels who will be very chill, like they will ask you very easy questions and they'll keep the interview very short. What actually happens is it all depends on your introduction. I've seen to a lot of extent. So what you are saying in your introduction in the first, let's say 2 minutes, essentially drives the entire direction of your IFT interview. That is what my experience was at that time. That might not be true for all the panels, or that might not be true for every person who is, participating in the process. But yeah, definitely. I mean, if the first 2 minutes you're able to give a really, really good, impression to the panelists that you know what you're talking about, and you have good communication skills and you have good presentation overall, right? I mean, just don't go out with a tie hanging out and everything. Like, be very, very presentable, because that is what is expected of future managers. Okay. So yeah, you'll have a pretty good selling there.
Right. Yeah. I think Umang has summed it up really well. But yes, of course, Vikas and Divyansh, you guys can just add on to your, the personal experience and what were the questions and all that. And some extra tips.
Yeah, I'll just be brief about it.
Because the thing is, like our attendees, some of them would be sitting for the PI and very, very soon. Yeah. So
yeah, I understand. I'll be brief. I also had the pleasure of attempting my VAT and PI at the IIFT campus. It is quite beautiful and intimidating as well, because you see all the honor codes from running back decades. 1963, there are gold medal winners, and you can actually point out that this person is working as a CEO in some Europe or France, Europe or America and somewhere. So talking about my VAT, it was quite an interesting topic. It was is microfinance going to be the boon that India was waiting for? So you have to be very specific about what you write in those 2 pages, because you are given only 250 to 300 words to write the answer. So the most important aspect here is structure. You need to structure your points very well. You can use the frameworks. Often when you go to coaching institutes, they will tell you how to structure it according to a few frameworks, like pestle framework. You have to cover as many aspects or as many horizons that you can think of about that specific topic. And very in those technical topics, you need to be very sure of the numbers. If you can add a few numbers, like how many percentage of people can be in the target group of these microfinance institutions, the policy frameworks, the people at the helm, like the RBI governor or the finance minister, what are they saying about it? So this particularly has a lot of value in your answers, even if you're short. But if you have solid numbers in your VAT, in your written answers, it will catch the eye of the invigilator or anyone who is accepting or checking your answer sheets.
Okay.
Talking about the GD, as it is mentioned, the details were covered very well by Mahindra and Umang. But one thing that I would like to add is when if you can get an opportunity, you should try to provide a structure to the GD. Like, this is how the GD will flow. We will try to cover these many try to open as many threads as possible. So basically, you need to be mutually exclusive, but you have to be very exhaustive about all the threads, all the horizons that can be talked about that particular topic. So try to give a structure, and try to be very engaging throughout those 15 minutes. As mentioned by Umang, you not need to be disinterested at any point of time. You need to be engaged in the conversation. That maybe you can carry a pen, you can carry a piece of paper, you can just write your points there. And this will also feel like you are you're not just trying to put in your opinion forward, but you're trying to build upon that. As your life goes on, you're not living in a vacuum. You are trying to get as many points from people around you and then building upon it. So this is what it was. And lastly, talking about the PI, I have felt that the IIFT interviews are way more technical than the other CAT interviews, because there are professors working from decades, right? So because in newer IIMs, or apart from a few IIMs are quite newer. So professors have decades of experience here. So I'll give you my personal example. I entered my room, and the professor, who is a legend in the finance and the economics community in Delhi. So it was Professor Joydeep Mukherjee. He gave me a piece of paper and said, draw the graph of a particular hyperbolic graph of some economic concept. And I was stumbled right at the front. Like, I was not expecting this. I was expecting, tell me about yourself, or why do you want to do an MBA? But he's just told me, draw this graph. You have to take 2 minutes. You have to draw this graph. Then it was nice. He was not intimidating at all. He helped me out as well. Then we moved on. So and last thing that I need to add about that, you need to be very sure about the story, your personal story. You don't need to bullshit, as Umang mentioned. You need to have a story that you did this, you did engineering, or you did commerce, you studied this, and then you moved on to MBA. How MBA is going to add value to your life, how MBA is going to contribute to your ultimate goals in life. So that story should be very clear in your head. Get it checked by your in coaching, your seniors, and anyone you can. So as you practice your answers by writing, you are going to get very thorough with it and crystal clear about it when you enter in the actual PI. That was my experience.
Divyansh.
Yes. So in my case, the topic that I received for VAT was, China's Uber policy. It was related somewhere to that. And we were like, I don't exactly remember the topic per se, but I do remember that it was revolving around China's Uber policy at that point of time. And as the other panelists have already spoken, it's more or less the same in terms of VAT. In GD, what I would like to point out is that my topic was Industrial 4.0, and how is it going to shape the future. Right. And what happened is that I was sitting, like, they asked you to sit in a particular position within the room, like Umang and other panelists have spoken, right? And then a round table.
How many people are there in GDs usually?
I believe that in my case, it was around 10 to 12 people. As far as I remember. And what happened is that, in that particular scenario, I was placed, I believe, 10th. In the group, and what happens is that the GD will start from person 1, then person 2, person 3. So everyone gets 2 minutes each to actually talk about the topic. And by the time it reaches me, whatever point I had noted down in my piece, in my diary, or in my piece of paper, and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, okay, each and every single point has been taken care of by all the other speakers.
It is pretty much the same condition here, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I felt that everything has been covered. What am I allowed to speak now? What should I be talking about? And this is one particular experience which I am now relating to again.
Yes,
so one or the other.
So next, I promise I'll start with you.
So, and while sitting there, so what I realized is that the best thing that I could have done at that point of time is what, like Mahindra pointed out at the start, and then Umang, carried it forward, is you build on the conversation, right? You basically pick someone's point who has spoken it very good, or in a very, you can say, brief way. And you just highlight that point, you talk numbers if you have it, And try quoting numbers. If you're placed like I am placed towards the end, maybe if someone say who was sitting at position 12th, right, his life was miserable. He, after the GD, he was pointing this out. Okay, I don't have even 1 point, I don't even have numbers to speak, because all the numbers were also spoken, right? So you need to understand that, okay, how can you build the conversation? So you can rather conclude it, or you can try just summarizing all the points that were spoken. You can just put in your view, your foot of thought, your one single point maybe, and that counts, right? The faculty, they do understand that, okay, you were placed in a position where you cannot really add new points.
Yeah.
Okay, and everyone is excited to bring in new points.
Correct.
And ideally all the points will get covered till that. So that is how I'll advise all the aspirants over here, and especially in GD, make sure you know your numbers. Do not quote wrong numbers, please. If you do that, and if someone points that out, that's a disaster, right? And you don't want that happening, at least on a GD. You will panic like anything. Because this happened with one of the panelists in my case, right? He quoted a wrong number, and then his face was all blustered. Like he lost his complete focus and started speaking everything around, all around the box, and then he was the only one who was creating that ruckus in the entire room, right? But then obviously, I mean, that is something that anyone can relate to. That nervousness comes in, that anxiousness kicks in at that point of time. And when it comes to PI, so in my case, I'll say the one experience that was, I believe, thoda bahut different to other panelists is that there was this one question in the PI form that they ask is, what is the chief, according to you, what is a chief economic or a political happening that has taken place over the last 6 months within India or outside India, right? One economic, you can say, major happening that has happened, or any major thing that you think is going to maybe affect the economy in the upcoming years. And I quoted that, okay, in terms of defense, defense projects and defense deals that are happening. So India at that point of time had recently signed that S-400 deal with Russia, and it actually was, for me, I felt that, okay, this is huge, you can say, economic event that is taking place in terms of defense, because we were always relying on USA. And they grilled me on it, right? They asked me what did I knew about defense. So fortunately enough, I do have a few family members who have served in the army, and I do understand how defense works. So I was able to justify that. So this is something, why did I why did I decided to opt for this particular answer is because I was in constant touch with my IMS mentors. I'll credit actually one of the sirs, his name was Aditya Ainagar, and he was in IMS Madhapur, and he was the one who actually pointed this out, while I was preparing for those answers, that, okay, you can relate to this. So, that is something that you need to be very sure of, your story, right? Like Vikas rightly mentioned, if you know what your story is, if you know what you're talking about, you're very confident about it, that reflects in your answer. If you try bullshitting around it, the people will not only catch you, they'll grill you. They'll keep asking questions over it, and then you'll end up you'll end up exposed towards the end of it. It's pretty much evident towards the end of it, right? So it's better to understand what exactly you're talking about. It's also very important to know what is happening around it, right? Be very sure of those topics, be very sure of your points, and extreme caution in terms of numbers. Do not quote wrong numbers, do not quote wrong numbers at all. Right? I had a friend who quoted one wrong number, and then his rank not only went down, but he was in the wait list. Though he eventually converted, but then that is a different story altogether. And it was just because of one number. So I was a 99.954 and he was a 99.24 or something percentile. So you can understand that what impact did it create, right? So that's my few points on this topic.
Thanks, Divyansh. Let's move to the next section, which is all about academics. And the reason we need to talk a lot about the academics bit is because it is very different from the other MBA courses, because it's all about international business. Also, the thing is, like, okay, all of you are from non-economics background, right? Non-commerce background. So wasn't that a sort of a little bit of a problem being in IIFT, which is all about trade and commerce? Is there anything at all, or do you just, or is it like the course covers everything? So Divyansh, you can you can answer this. Okay, I'm just going to call like maybe one or two people now, because I believe we needed an in-depth knowledge about PI, but now we can just take one or two. People can answer each question. Yeah, Divyansh, you can answer this.
Sure. So yeah, coming in from a non-commerce background does pose a bit of a challenge.
Okay.
At least I found finance to be quite overwhelming in my first try sem, and felt ki okay, this is something that I really wanted to learn, but then felt ki okay, there are some shortcomings that was there essentially, right? So I'll suggest that anyone who wants to take a finance and is not having a economics or a commerce background to back it up, you guys can actually start looking up for a few courses online that would actually help you build a base. At least that is there. And yes, do take those assignments that they allot you. If you're selected, obviously you'll be allotted a few assignments. Take them very seriously, because that actually helps to bring you on the same platform as others are, right? And you'll get to know a few people in that particular assignment process only. Okay, this is the guy. Say for example, me and Mahindra are in one assignment, so Mahindra knows finance and I don't. I can take Mahindra's help to understand a few concepts. So that is a peer-to-peer learning kind of a thing, is obviously quite evident in an MBA college. It's all about collaboration at the end of the day. Right. So, academically, you need to focus quite a lot in these areas, especially economics and finance. If you're coming in from that you can say technical background or CS kind of a background. And if you do that, I think so that you'll be able to score quite good over here. Like, I mean, you can score really good in a decent amount of time, but the only thing that you need to do is that take academics seriously. Don't think okay, this is an MBA college, so like let's just focus on placements. It's not like that. Do take it seriously, because at the end of the day, everything matters, right? Okay. They will ask you questions around what were you studying, how are you doing. So whenever we talk about placements, this point will definitely come up down the line. And in terms of preparation, anything that they ask you to prepare right at the start, for me they asked me to go through those Google AdWords certification, and that is something that I took it very seriously. I did it, and that eventually helped me during my summer internship. So nothing is going to waste. Okay. Any assignment, any kind of pre-read that is being tasked upon you, you'll feel ki, okay, why am I'm still working, I'm serving my notice period, I have this much time only to chill and everything. Don't think it that way. You are on a journey, right? MBA is essentially a journey. You cannot have a few pointers in between. You will have to connect it all along. So you can't say ki, okay, today let's chill, tomorrow I'll study. So that is not the approach. You need to study continuously, perform continuously if you want to end up in a good place. That is what you ideally are investing your money for, right? So that is my it from my side.
Okay, so let's now talk about academics. What was your first day and first week at IIFT like? And also we can talk a little bit very briefly about the IIFT curriculum, focusing more on the IB aspect. So and how different it is from the other MBA courses. Yeah, Umang, you can probably answer this briefly, and Vikas, you can also answer this briefly. Mahendra and Divyansh, I'll be taking more questions on placements and internship from you guys. Yeah, Umang.
Yeah, so I first week at IIFT is going to be really hectic, guys. I'm going to be very honest with you, okay? Yeah. So be prepared, be ready, and tell your parents that I'm going to be incognito for a few days. If it happens offline, then you are at campus, so you are at the mercy of everyone else except yourself. Okay, so just make sure that you are ready for the challenge that is coming in. But trust me, it is going to be an amazing experience, because it's once in a lifetime opportunity, right, to have that kind of experience. And not only and we at IIFT pride ourselves at having that experience, because that is something that is quite unique to our college. Like other colleges do something similar, but they do not do that to that extent, or to do I mean, let's keep it a surprise, right? But yeah, it is going to be hectic. It is going to be very engaging. It is going to be very fruitful. You're going to meet a lot of new people. Like you're going to meet people from many, many different walks of background. And essentially what happens in engineering is that, or in your previous days, you do not meet people from the similar intellectual backgrounds or something. But here, everyone you meet is going to, immediately it's going to be like a connection, because all of you are coming from sort of the same level of intelligence and sort of the same level of intellect. And so it is going to be an amazing experience.
Okay, Vikas.
Yeah, so
you can talk a bit also about the academics as in the IB course.
Yeah, I'll do that. So I'll start with the first week. Yeah, it was quite exhilarating, as Mang mentioned. It was meeting so many people from such diverse background with equally curious and ambitious minds was thoroughly exciting. But at the same time, it was exciting and intriguing, and at the same time arduous as well. But you did learn a lot. You have seniors and other people in charge of welcoming you to the college. You are given refresher of the culture, the legacy, and the rigor of the institute that is built over from 1963. That is like close to 5 decades now. So even we had talked about we were introduced to a concept called case competition. Like various corporate case competitions are held during the phase of 2 years, and IIFT is particularly famous at excelling at them. So we were now rank one when it comes to those live corporate case competitions. Basically, the companies come in with the live problems that they are facing, and they just ask you to solve these problems for them. So it's not like some competition which is just held in a vacuum. Often these ideas are implemented by those companies. And even I was lucky to win one of them nationally. I was a national winner in Voice Vantage, and then I was the national semi-finalist in Flipkart Wired as well. And through that, I got my final placement offer as well.
Okay.
So in Flipkart. And talking about the academic rigor, it's a misconception kind of that it's just a trade college. As we call the developers, full stack developers, I consider IIFT as a full stack MBA college. You have everything here. So you can do anything you want. You can major in marketing, you can do majors in finance, you can do in strategy, you can do it in ops. I myself have done double majors. I have marketing and finance both as my majors. So it's you won't get opportunities to interact with professors like these. For example, we were given guest lectures by Piyush with the finance minister as well. Piyush Goyal came and talked to us about that. Even many distinguished civil servants have come from Ministry of Commerce to especially talk to IIFT students. So for the 400 of us, imagine people coming from such distinguished background and especially sharing those details with you. So in the academics side, it helps a huge bit when you are talking with those people, and it is correlated to the course that they have built for us. You have like 13 to 15 subjects in one trimester in second year, so it is quite rigorous academically. In the second year, you have when you have taken such subjects, you have a lot of variety as well. You are offered like 30 to 40 subjects and electives to choose from, so you can design your course.
What are the electives that you've taken?
Yeah, I have taken a variety of electives from financial modeling to consumer behavior, to B2B marketing, to basic financial accounting. It's a open canvas for you to paint, basically. Like in the larger, in the premier colleges, you are given freedom to choose your subjects. It's not a restrictive curriculum as such. You can select and choose whatever you want to do. So there are professors.
And how exactly can one do double specialization? I think this is one particular thing specifically for IIFT, right? That you can do double specialization.
It is an option in a few other IIMs as well, but it's a process. In first year, everyone is given same subjects. Everyone studies the same subjects, and then it makes sense as well, right? You have to know what you like. You can't just make a decision in a vacuum that, hey, I will take a finance majors without even knowing what finance is. So in 1 year, you study all the subjects from finance to marketing to ops to strategy to trade as well. So you read everything, then you make your decision. After the first year, you are given a set of subjects to do a finance major. You have to select six more subjects, especially to that subject. And if you take a marketing major, you have to select 6 electives from a list specifically in the marketing domain. So that is how it is categorized there.
So
this is
I would say guys, do not worry so much about these specializations and everything, because I mean, you're not even at that point, right? Like try to just make it through first. Because trust me, academically, IIFT is at par with all of your premier B schools, your A's and B's and C and L, all your blackies, okay? So you do not have to worry about the academics. We have world-class faculty here. We have people who, have actually taught at, Yale and Princeton, and, guest faculties. We have people coming from there. We have guest faculties of CEO level people from big organizations like Microsoft, Google, and all the other companies in the world that you can think of who also come in and take lectures. So the kind of exposure academically that you'll get to experience all those different topics or courses that you have chosen or your specializations, you're going to have a great time with that. So don't worry so much about the academics, I would say.
Yeah, you have to be just excited about the fact that you are being taught by the same professors who are making the policies in the national level. Often most of the professors are sitting on the national policies because it's a college specifically under Ministry of Commerce. So it's a big deal. So most of we have that special perk attached to our college that our professors are actually working on the projects on a national scale that they are talking about. So they are just not writing it or just expressing their opinion. They are actually making a point that they wrote in that report that they have submitted to the national government. Yeah. So that is
and adding to that, you also get to work with those professors sometimes if you're lucky. They have live projects and everything. So might very well be that you might be working for the government of Lebanon or something in some case. So be prepared for those kind of experiences. You're going to have them.
Okay, Umang and Vikas has definitely they've sold IIFT, the idea of being at IIFT, the best place to be. Now, can someone talk a little bit about the student exchange program? Obviously, Umang and Vikas won't be able to because
Divyansh, you want to go for that? Like, I can explain one thing because so one parallel, student exchange program. Before that, one point to add on with Vikas and Umang, what they said. Like in IIFT, in the first year, you don't have any specialization to choose. You will choose your majors and minors in second year. In the same way, as per clubs and committees is concerned, across B schools, there is one thing different with IIFT is in the first trisem, across all the B schools, you will be having all this selection process for other clubs and committees. But the student council and the placement committee, all these office bearers for the year will be selected actually after the first trisem. Why? Because with the first trisem, you will know how a person is working along with the batch and gelling with your own batchmates. Then accordingly, you will choose him as a concerned member. Then moving on to the second point of student exchange program. So the process goes like this. There are a list of colleges of 40 plus across multiple countries, and you need to research about which one you have to choose. You will go for a span of 3 to 4 odd months. So you will be interviewed by 3 faculty member panel of both Delhi and Calcutta together. And it's a similar process of IIFT selection process. Student exchange selection process. So you will get a list and then wait list, and as per every college filtered out. So the only one thing which I'll say that if you have to be the part of placement committee or student council, you cannot go to student exchange program. So apparently I was one of them who was there in both, but I have to choose placement committee before student exchange program. But that experience is literally amazing because it's a one-time opportunity. You won't do your PG again in abroad, right? That's all.
Right.
Yeah, just adding a small point to that. In the student exchange, we talked about how we go abroad. There are people coming in from Europe and US as well. So during COVID, obviously we couldn't go. That was very sad on for our batch. We couldn't go. We were very excited about. There were an idea that we would go in the second year as well. There were hopes, but they are now down as well. But a couple of students came from Finland to study with IIFT as well. So there's a famous university in Europe, Hanken University. So people came from here and studied with us. We talked about with them. Last week we had our interim examination at campus offline. So we met with them. We had a very fruitful discussion with them how their things work there. So these student exchanges are very, very important in knowing about how the global education scene works like. So that is also a big plus with student exchange. So you will get to, even if you can't.
I think we have covered that as well. Now let's move to the next section because, we are really running out of time. So the next section is all about internships and placements. So can you just take us a little bit through your summer internship, Umang and Vikas? You guys have had your summer, was it online internship?
So
very quickly, Umang, you can just take us through that.
Sure.
Then the next one will be for you, Mahendra and Divyansh, for the placement.
Yeah, so typically the selection process for the summer internships happens somewhere in the the first trisem and between the second trisem itself. And I had the privilege to intern with Godrej Consumer Products. So I was working as an international marketing intern, and I was working on one of their major categories in Africa, right?
Okay.
So one thing I would say that be again summers the same thing applies to what you're doing in IFT. Be very prepared, know what you are saying, and be honest in everything. Yeah, because
Yeah.
So the same process, but we are prepared through a very grueling process by the placement committee.
Yeah.
So don't be you are assured that you will get enough preparation for the summer internship process. So I interned at Indus Valley Partners. It's a hedge fund consultancy. So I worked with a lot of clients working in New York, from New York to Europe. So during I had to sign an NDA, so I couldn't talk much about what I did there.
Okay.
So
same here.
it's a
yeah.
So there are lots of opportunities in the college for whatever you want to do.
Okay. Okay, Mahendra, can you please take us through the placement process, since you were in the placement cell? Yeah.
Okay. So like as Uman mentioned about the first week and first day experiences, see, guys, don't have this pre-consumption, or you don't come with the mind ki I'm coming back to college. Like all the work ex people will be like, I'm going back to college streets. See, you're coming to a place where you need to spend every minute, which is very valuable to you. I'm saying every minute. Okay. And the only one thing I'll say is be hydrated all the time. Okay, you might not get food, or you might not get time to eat your food, even though if you're in home. Okay, like Vikas and Umang were there in online procedures. Me and Divyansh were there in offline procedures all across. Okay, that was one transition. Like you overall, the headline will be like, first year will be, or first two trisems will be tough. Later on, it will be peaceful. Like for the third trisem and then your summer internship. Then fourth trisem will be little rigorous if you're not getting your PPO offers and all. Then again, fifth trisem will be very crucial, because that is the time when your final placements and all starts happening, and you will prepare for it. So the placement process across B schools is same. And it is the pre-placement preparation which Vikas is mentioning. Yeah, it is really very time consuming, and it will take so much of your daytime and night times, primarily night hours. Okay. You have to be habituated, like leave your habits. If you have an habit of I'll sleep at 11 and I'll wake up at 5. Okay. You will end up, if you are on campus, you will end up sleeping at 5 and waking up at 7:30. Okay. This is the fact. Okay. Even I haven't signed any NDA with IIFT because I can say all this. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking you.
Okay. This is not just for any POR holder, as in position of responsibility holder. It is for every single batchmate who wants to achieve something from MBA. It's like you will see like online pay, it will be little different, because you might not have Vikas next to me in my room or the next room. Okay. But on campus, you will have, assume me and Divyanshu are next roommates. We might not be sitting in one room, like in a different rooms. We'll be sitting in one common hall or all on the corridor itself. Bro, we have to complete this assignment. We have to complete this. We have to read this. We have to read that. Okay. You will have multiple assignments, starting with corporate competitions, which Vikas told, and where you can excel and get your offers before the placement season starts. Okay. And the parallel placement preparations happen with the help of the seniors and at times with faculty.
Okay.
Then from the day -1, day -2, what you heard these terms, day 0, the D-Day, all these days come, multiple processes, multiple GDs. Like it's like, assume IIFT is one shot that you want to get into. Right. During the summer placements or final placements, you will have multiple dream companies coming on campus, everything giving their shortlist, like, Are mere ko kyun nahi aaya, isko kyun aaya? Don't go into those analysis at all. That is the first advice I'll give. You are not an HR to filter out why did Vikas get this shortlist, even though he's having a gap, or why Divyanshu got, he's ITAR, I'm into the core, why did I get into Reliance? See, don't go into analysis which will spoil your brain. Okay. Just go with the instant key, believe in the process. This is what you get from every B school. Like, believe in the process. Like, you might see all these meme pages and all getting ye hua, wo hua and all. Okay. That is like, even the greatest of greatest companies do go into some minute faults. Okay. But you can't just magnify them as ki 100% aise hi hota hai. Like we are also the same batchmates where we all together worked or played some sports or have meals in the same mess. Okay, you don't need to be so against about any committee for that matter. Okay, we all work together for our batch or our college. Pride of IIFT, we call it. Okay, so then you go with the placements and you work very well with those companies such that organizations and the associations built further. Like 63 1966 we said we have several recruiters across every year which are same. They just increase their stipend and don't worry about summer placement stipend first thing, because you end up spending in all the parties in the fourth session or during the same summer internship. You just need to be very sure about get your project, do how much you can. You need to do so much than what you expect to do, okay, such that you have enough amount of content to say during your final placement if unfortunately you don't get into a PPO offer. Or else you will have ample amount of opportunities across every single B school, and in IIFT very good. Okay, that's all I can say.
Okay, is the academics really matter during placement?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it does matter because not every recruiter will be very interested in asking about the same questions across panels. Like assume if we four are there into the panel, assume I say more about my work experience, my position of responsibility, then the panel will be like, theek hai. Next, Divyansh will be saying more about like same work ex, but they have to have some filter, right? Like how can I judge whether Divyansh is better than mine? So there'll be one common point that we all came from the IIFT curriculum. They know the curriculum. Like recruiters do see all the curriculum, all the subjects that we have gone through. So they'll just ask you, how do you connect balance sheet and profit loss statement? So if I'm able to say, if I'm not able to, then it's an easy yes or no tick for a recruiter. You just have to think from their shoes. Assume in the same interview panel, if you are an interviewer and you are an interviewer, just how do you judge? That's all. Like everything matters, whatever you mention on the resume. And the first thing you mention is, I am Mahendra Kumar, currently pursuing MBA from IIFT. Okay, so what did you learn there? So that is like acads really matter. And then same with your summer internship, or if you're sitting for summer placements, if you write I daily play or I love to play table tennis or volleyball, they might say, what's the weight of a table tennis ball? It's just a random question he might ask, or he might be a very fluent or very great sports player. Okay, just ensure whatever you do, you do it with a perfection, even though you don't have anything, or some of the people in the chat were asking, I don't have any extracurriculars or co-curriculars. Okay, but you have spent your 24 hours of day with something or the other. Like you might have spent with your family, which is really important these days in COVID time. Okay, like you don't need to cook up a story around that. You just need to be very honest, which all of our panelists were telling from the day, from the time this session started. So you just need to be honest about everything, even though you haven't have, like, I am not a national level tennis player, I am not a national level something, but you might have played something, or you have done some minute arts in your home itself. Everything is really required. You just need to be very true and connect all the dots. Like for example, assume you are very good at drawing or calligraphy, like drawing or painting. You can give it a name as calligraphy, and you know more about calligraphy, and I want to pursue this as a passion. So that will make you like have connected these dots with something terminology that recruiters will understand, rather than I'm saying I'm good at drawing or painting. Okay, that's all. You need to polish your terms by help of your peers in MBA, where you will all be struggling for the same thing. Maybe different plans and different companies where you end up.
Right. Yeah, Divyansh, can you talk about your placement experience and then how exactly did you land up as a consultant with Yellow.ai?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Right. So in my case, I had the privilege of summer interning with Shell. So post coming to campus, it became one of the dream companies to probably get into. And, the placement process, again, there was really rigorous. Because I do not have any NDAs, so I can speak that at least for Shell, what happened is that, like the process went on for at least an hour for me, at least. And they grilled me quite a lot. They gave, I won't reveal the process as such, because I'm not sure if I should do that. But then the thing is that what I can say is that the process was really grilling, and they questioned every nook and corner that they could have in that point of time. during my summer internship. They did ask about what my experiences were in my past organization and everything, and they checked whether I'd written the right thing on the CV or not. I knew about the certifications that I was mentioning out there. I knew about Google AdWords or not, because they will ask all stuff around it. And unfortunately, during my case, we did not have PPOs rolled out from shelf for anyone across the country. So due to COVID, obviously. So while sitting for the final placement, yes, it was really grilling. Why? Because, obviously, as Mahendra rightly pointed out, shortlists are not in my hand. It's something that's really random. It depends entirely on the HR, and if they seem fit, they'll shortlist you. If they don't, you have to move on, right? That's how life is. So you move on to the next company. You sit for processes, and the idea should be that, the one shot that you get, you convert it. If you go on with that attitude, that really helps, right? And when talking about Yellow, so I'll just talk in brief about the process for Yellow. It was, GD happened, and in GD, the topic for the GD was India, rural India or urban India, which is going to play a major role in the next decade, right? I opted for rural India in that, and the GD went on for around 35-40 minutes. And we were 7-8 people in there, and this is a very this is not a standard process that I'm talking about. I'm speaking exclusively about Yellow. Right? And then post that, we had around 2 rounds of interview. The final round after that was just an obligatory one, where they informed me that I was given the offer. And in those 2 rounds, I was questioned about my summer internship, the work that I did there, the achievements that I had there. And achievement not necessarily means that I was pointed out maybe in a webinar or something, that okay, this guy has done this. The achievement might be as simple as that I was able to develop a strategy that was adopted by Shell. Right. So even that counts as an achievement. So you need to understand that achievement is a very broad term, and you can use it in your own definition. It's not something that a national level player, or I revolutionized Shell. I cannot revolutionize Shell in a span of 2 months. No one can. Neither Vikas, nor Umang, nor Mahindra, nor anyone among the people who are either studying or are an alumni, right, in the summer internship. So you need to understand that you need to do what is expected out of you, and you need to go above and beyond that, right? You give your best, and then obviously a certain luck factor comes in and kicks in. So that is how the placements looks like, be it summers or finals. Right? And they will question you a lot around your summer placements. So ensure that you know what you did. You did it very honestly and very sincerely, so that you're able to explain it in that manner, and that sincerity comes through, because that is something that they will want. At least in Yellow, when I talked to the the person who recruited me was our alumni, and he was my reporting manager here at Yellow. Right? So he knew about IIFT. He knew about everything that I could have probably spoken about. Right? He knew that I was a part of the cultural committee and everything, and he grilled me on that as well. How many sponsors did you bring? Right? And he could have checked that in the backend, because he had access some way or the other. I don't know how, but he did check it, whether I was quoting the right numbers or not. So, that level of granularity also happened for me. And I was so surprised, because when I got, right now I'm here at Bangalore, and when I got here, and I met him in person, and he was like, his reaction was like, so you did bring this much, nahi? See, I can also see this. This is the list, right? This is the list of sponsors that you brought. As Melange. So that is the kind of granularity that you need to be sure of, right? You know your numbers, you know what you did, and you speak sincerely, right? Your sincerity speaks in that processes. And even in GD or PI, whatever process you appear for, you sound confident in what you have done, if you have done it nicely, and if you have done it very sincerely on the first place. And at the end of the day, when you're speaking or talking about your academics or anything else, right, you need to have those bullet points in your head, so that you're able to speak it out in a very fluent and a very systematic manner. Because if like, for example, if I talk about right now I'm pursuing a course in data science, so if I know ki data science mein kya pointers hain, I'll speak it out ekdam straight ahead. And if I don't know, I'll just beat around the bush. I'll say, data science is a science for data, and that things come up, right? That we do have certain terms which you'll learn. I'll just quote one term here. We call it as gas. And you'll understand what it means as and when you get into IIFT. So don't gas around. Speak to the point directly.
Okay, tell me something. There was one question about this. Probably Vikas can answer. do you need a lot of, I mean, if somebody has had like maybe 4+ years of experience, does that affect in the selection for IIFT? Okay, Mahendra has already answered no. Yeah, okay, Mahendra, you can answer. Yeah.
Yeah, as per summer placements and final placements, these two are different things. Okay, like there was this one question in the chat box, like, does summer internship is the same kind of experience that finals will happen?
Huh.
Okay, like if I get into the
My
biggest,
question was about getting selected
4 years, yeah,
IIFT, as in the PI, as in
yeah.
the initial, like the first step.
Yeah.
So in
So
that,
getting
what is,
into getting into IIFT, yeah, work experience does not have any specific factor
if
in the
somebody has
composite score.
4+ years experience, it's fine.
So
I mean, it's not
no,
going to blow.
yeah, my batchmate has 6.5 years experience
Okay.
across 4 different
Okay.
firms.
Okay.
So you just need to be cognizant about the VAT and GD and PI, which are really the composite score consists. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we
So
also have batchmates who have like
supposed to say
8 years plus of experience.
Okay, just a minute. Umang, yeah, you have to repeat again. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just saying that, just like Mahendra said, like we also have batchmates who have 7+8+ years of work experience. So it doesn't matter, like work experience. IIFT is the most work experience agnostic college that you will see, because we have right from BBA freshers to 8 years of experience of engineers. So we have that whole diaspora. So don't worry about that.
Okay. Okay, let's move to the fun section, and then we will wrap up. So this is all about photos. Well, a lot of questions. Okay, who's gonna go first, Mahendra or Divyansh?
Mahendra, you can go first now. I've gone first twice.
Okay, so there is this tournament where you play. It's across between seniors and juniors.
Okay.
It's the finals of that.
So guys, this is whatever Mahendra is going to show. These are all from the Kolkata campus of IIFT. A lot of people were asking a lot of questions about whether इस पे जाऊं कि उसमें जाऊं, ये अच्छा है कि वो अच्छा है. दोनों बहुत अच्छे हैं.
Both are equally good. It depends on your final ending score of composite, whether you get Delhi or Calcutta. Because there is nothing is mentioned on the degree that you come from Delhi or you come from Calcutta.
And the placements take place at the same venue in Delhi.
Same venue in Delhi. If it is offline, placements happen in Delhi campus. Convo happen in Delhi campus. And if it is online, it is happening on Zoom or Microsoft Teams, where there is no differentiation.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is this volleyball team, and this is me who is with this ball. I'm currently having this hair. Okay. Then
volleyball entrance.
So this is this entrance. So this exactly says the progress of trade that has happened over time. Ships and then all these things. Okay. Then okay, this is again a sport ka game, like the scores. 1 second. With the team. Okay. This is how you see the entrance of hostel. These are not the hostels. The leftmost building is the acad block.
Okay.
And this one is faculty and students block in between. The middle one. This is the boys hostel.
Okay.
And this is the lake. The campus have 3 lakes. One is the biggest. This is the biggest most.
And where is the girls hostel?
Girls hostel is behind this, like the cornermost.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Okay.
Next.
Then
marathon. Okay.
This is how you end up in a marathon with all the faculty and all and the students. Okay. This is my room ka balcony view.
Nice. So every room has a balcony?
No, every room has a balcony, but not every room will have a lake view. We will call lake view. Okay.
So is it like you have to bribe someone to get
nothing? It's random allotment. Random allotment. If you come early, you might get ending up in that other corner where you will see IT. No, the other side will have ITC ka viewpoint. Like you will see ITC ka.
All right. I mean, lake view is better, I believe.
So this is the OAT where officially you have to have the cultural parties, but over the night you will have your unofficial parties.
Okay.
And this is how this is the final view where when you smoke a cigarette, you'll see,
So
we are living in
this is like outside the campus.
Yeah, outside the campus. Yeah.
So you also get food and stuff like
Yeah. You will get everything inside the campus itself.
and all that stuff. Paratha and all that. Okay.
Yeah, that's all from my side.
Okay.
This is like the top of the world. Basically, we have a huge.
Okay. Oh, this is
so
the
this
Delhi
is our
campus,
batch.
right? This is IIFT Delhi campus, by the way, because Divyansh was supposed to show Delhi campus. But
yes.
Yeah. So I didn't bring the the informal one, so I thought Divyansh will be bringing that in. So these are the batch pictures that we took recently, just a couple of days back. So we were all there for our end-term examination. So this is the best way or time to get all of us together. So so at the end of exams, we took these are our section pics actually. So these are this is something like that. So this is called Wings of Wisdom. So
this is beautiful.
So this is the legacy institute or legacy statue that you enter into the college and you see this massive statue standing in front of you. This was inaugurated by Pranab Mukherjee as well. So it has a history of its own. So the area above above it, it's called Top of the World. So we all hang around there. You have your pictures taken there. You prepare for exams and then go there. So it's quite a beautiful place. There are a couple of legacy cats as well. You'll encounter when you come there. They are quite famous there. They have their own history there as well. So this is the view from the top of the world. This is how it looks. So this is our admin building. So where you'll give your GDs and PIs.
Very nice.
Okay. So this is again the building, and this is the ACAD block which you'll encounter when you come there. So this is it.
Yeah. Divyansh, you're next.
This is basically the marathon event. So it's like we call it as the pre-launch event of Kovadi. It happens mostly around November, December. And the marathon, as you can see right here, it was conducted. You can say it's pretty early in the morning. Even we, I believe this photo was taken around 3 a.m. In the morning. When we as the organizers were supposed to report and ensure that everything is on place. And this is like within the campus, there is a gate once you enter the Delhi campus. So it's within the campus nearby the academic block. Sorry. Next photo.
Which one?
Any photo you can open. So this is the grand alumni reunion photo. So we had alumni coming in for across like 25-year-old folks who had 25-year-old experienced folks like who had passed out 25 years ago, and then like all senior people coming in from varied backgrounds, like even army personnel who had studied the single year courses at IIFT. It's a great event to be a part of. So this is conducted by the alumni committee, though I'm from the cultural committee and we are always in conflict with one another, but it's a fun event.
It's rapid fire.
Sure.
What is Quo Vadis at
Kovadi? It's Kovadi.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Kovadi. I'll speak about it because I believe I'm the only one who's here in Milan. Yeah, so Kovadi essentially is our flagship event of the cultural committee that happens in the Delhi campus.
It's Kovadi.
Kovadi, yeah. We pronounce it as Kovadi.
And it's okay. Which language does it come from? Etymology of the word.
I believe that it's a legacy term coined in by our seniors.
I because sitting at the panel, and I would have asked this question: the etymology of Kovadi.
Right. So basically, for the people who don't know it, it's a cultural event. It's a cultural mega event.
It's a Latin word.
In one word. Okay, somebody is googling it now. Okay. In one word, what is Kovadi? It's a cultural event, right?
Yes. It's the cultural mega event at IIFT. So a lot of events take place by the cultural committee, and this is basically the flagship event. Wherein we have a lot of events going on, ranging from cultural events like Nukkad Natak, Ramp Walk, Battle of Bands, to management events like Shastra, wherein folks fly in from various campuses like XLRI, XIMB, even ABC, and they come in and the entire management event takes place. So it's like I believe a 3-day event that happens. So Kovadi in itself is a 3-day event, while Shastra also happens in the same time only, but it's again also a 3-day event.
All
Right,
right, moving on to the next question.
Sure.
What is the full form of UWL? What is it? UWL in one word. Umang.
Even I have not heard of that term. I mean,
No,
where did that come?
Mahendra.
Nahin.
No, even
Divyansh.
Yeah, we have heard about it. It's Ultimate Warrior League. It's kind of a section war. So
Acha,
we had.
okay.
Oh, it's a.
We
It's
changed the
because
name
we
actually.
changed the name. Yeah.
Okay.
So
We
basically,
changed the name,
it
yeah.
happens in college.
Now.
So different
Because
sections.
newly. What is the new name now?
It's
So
Thor.
it's just section wars. We
Ragnarok
called
tha
it
na?
Ragnarok. We
Ragnarok
called
tha
it
na, yeah.
Ragnarok. We won.
So,
We beat you. Section B.
ठीक है.
Previously, we used to call, like, we had Akhri Dangal and
Akhri Dangal, we know. Yeah.
Yeah, we had section
Akhri
wars.
Dangal is what?
Akhri Dangal basically happens between the senior
Yes, and the
sections and the
junior.
junior sections.
Junior
towards the end of
sections.
it.
Okay.
So
towards the
this
end of
UWL happens within 1 year
Abhi
itself.
UWL इसको याद आ गया. Umang को
Oh,
याद.
like the term that you mentioned. Yeah.
Oh, come
So
on. Etymology.
in Calcutta campus, it is Battle by the Lakes.
Okay. Okay. Battle by the
So,
lakes.
lakes.
Nice. Okay. What is the? How was the night party life at IIFT? Within the campus, is there anything happening? Delhi.
I mean,
What's Delhi? Let's
it's
tackle
Delhi.
Delhi first.
so
मतलब,
the-
do you
Yes.
guys get out of the campus to party or within the campus, like in the hostels?
Because it's
Disclaimer.
Delhi and it's
Umang, you
hostel, so everything is possible.
Right. Yeah.
Umang, give the
Mahendra,
disclaimer as well.
What happens at
Mahendra has a lake view. So
No. So
party-
it's little difficult. Like I was there in Delhi campus for a trisome types.
Okay.
So it's easier at Delhi campus to party, but in
Okay.
Calcutta it is a bit difficult.
Why?
Like because we have a different campus head here, who is a little bit on a disciplinary terms. So you can't be so like you just need to be chunned to have a party. Like, you need to manage.
Okay, so you
manage several.
You're not usually allowed to have
hostel parties do happen, but not to a greater extent like how it happens at Delhi campus.
Yeah. Of course.
But as we are experienced in doing all those things, like everyone in the attendees also have their experiences in undergrad, so how to get things done.
But okay, in one word, why choose IIFT over other B schools? In one word, Divyansh, one word.
Trade.
Huh?
One word is trade, because of trade.
Okay.
If you want to choose IIFT, come in for trade. You want to learn about trade, so trade.
Legacy.
Okay. Umang.
Cat.
What?
Cat. I mean, if you're I mean, the aspirants know, the attendees know the reason behind it, right?
So it's for international business, I see.
Okay. How about giving one suggestion to the people who are preparing for IIFT interviews and selection process right now? Mahendra, you can start, then Vikas, then Divyansh. I think Umang is gone.
Okay. Yeah. So, guys, one single suggestion is don't compare colleges before you go for that opportunity.
Okay.
Just feel IIFT is an equally important and aspirational college. Okay. We don't have to pitch for that. Okay. See, it should not be like by chance. It should be by choice. You need to have multiple opportunities at your end, then you choose it. So for that, give equal importance to every single thing. Either it is CAT, IIFT, ZAT, or you give tests if someone. Okay. So IIFT is equally important. Then one, as Divyansh mentioned in between, if you're not getting or if you got results of something, just move on. Okay. Just move on is the thing that you required all across your life, from starting when you enter into B school or pre-B school time also. That's all. All the best.
Yeah. Because
I would just add on to that. You don't have to make the decision beforehand that you will go there. You have this college in your mind that you absolutely want to go there. Just clear the interviews. Just clear the interviews of all the colleges for the CAT, for an MDI interview will happen independently, differently as well, for tests, for ZAT. So when you have the offers at your hand, then try to make that decision. Then you can have the better picture that you have to select from these elements. Don't try to select beforehand, before even entering for the PIs, that you will make your strategy for that one college. You have to make your preparation college agnostic. So you have to be prepared for any kind of questions. You just need to focus on yourself, your story, your background, your will to do an MBA, and your desire to add value from the MBA in your life. So this is what my
Divyansh?
Good luck to everyone.
Yeah. So focus on why MBA, and don't go a lot. Don't be insightful on the meme pages that go around, or the various collaboration platforms. I know everyone is a millennial here, so no point in mentioning that again. But yeah, don't give too much heed to what rumors say, because there is a reason they are called rumors, right? At the end of it. Just ensure that what you're doing, why are you doing, you're sure of it, right? So that's why I said answer why MBA to yourself, and if you're clear about it, you will crack whichever college you want to go into. And we hope that it's IIFT at the end of it, because we were here, and let us define our experience in one word. If I have to say it, that it was phenomenal, right? Towards the end of it, got to learn, and I'm a way different human being than what I was when I entered IIFT. All the best for your preparation.
Umang, are you still there? Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, but somehow I cannot turn on my camera. It says the host has disabled it. So never mind. I mean,
okay. Yeah, now you can.
So what was the question? What was the question? Because I dropped off in between.
Basically just before leaving, do you have anything in particular to say to our audience who are going to be sitting for all the PIs and GDs now?
So I'm just going to say one thing again. I'm just going to, regurgitate myself, that be honest in whatever process you're sitting for. Be honest to yourself, your strengths and your weaknesses, recognize them at an early point. Okay. And make sure that, you make the necessary changes, to improve on your strengths and to, work on your weaknesses, right? Well, that is one important thing. The second thing is, as Vikas already mentioned, do not make a predetermined choice that you want to go only to this college. Because I would say that first go through the interview experience of itself. Okay. Because as you might have heard in other of the B School Insider sessions, that, for CAP or, all these newer IIMs, the processes are entirely different and everything, right? So get to the processes, get to know about, different colleges, their backgrounds, and look at, various resources. And do not trust resources that you see on Pagal Guy or Instagram, right? Do not see those memes, because honestly, they will not give you an honest picture, right? Because a lot of people are just there for the heck of it. Okay. So if you want credible information, go to the respective colleges' websites and look at their placement reports. And IIFT also has a blog which is called IIFT Insider. So if you want more information about IIFT, you can definitely tune on into it, because there might be certain things about clubs and active cells and activities that we might have missed out, and you can read about them in detail. Then ultimately make an informed choice. If you have multiple options, make an informed choice. That is all I would say. And best of luck.
Okay. So, so basically, to sum it all up, don't make any assumptions. Go there and check it out on your own. Yeah. So that's all we have time for. And thank you, Mahendra Kumar. Thank you, Divyansh Sandwar. Thank you, Vikas Prasad. Thank you, Umang Dugal. Thank you so much. And thank you, all the attendees.